When most people hear the term clutter, they usually think of a messy closet, a crowded garage, or a pile of paperwork. But did you know that your finances can be cluttered too? Financial clutter can cause stress and make it harder for you to reach your financial goals. But the good news is that it's usually easy to fix once you know what you're looking for. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Joe, a licensed certified public accountant with over 15 years experience in corporate and public accounting. I have an extensive background in accounting, audit, and taxes, and I'm all about helping you take control of your money by living smarter. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on all notifications. And check out the blog site where we post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today, we're talking about something that most people don't realize is hurting their finances, and that's financial clutter. Remember, financial clutter can cost you money, create stress, and make it harder for you to reach your financial goals. So let's dive in. Let's start by defining what is financial clutter. Financial clutter is anything that creates confusion or disorganization in your financial life. This could be unopened bills, forgotten subscriptions, having too many bank accounts, having multiple credit cards, missing financial documents, unused budgeting apps, and not knowing where your money is going each month. Think of financial clutter as noise. The more noise you have, the harder it becomes to make smart financial decisions. Let's go over the three types of financial clutter. The three types of financial clutter are physical, digital, and mental. Let's go over all three briefly, starting with physical clutter. Physical clutter, this includes paperwork, receipts, tax documents, and bills scattered throughout your home. My mother passed a few years back, and recently my sister found this bin of this overlooked bin that we found with all these documents and all types of stuff in it. And we found my mom had held on to some of her tax documents from 2009, 2008, somewhere from 2005, and it's like, wow, why does she still have these tax documents when she should have gotten rid of them or should have shredded them? Those are the type of clutter that you don't even realize you have, and it spills up over time. So that's the physical. Let's talk about the digital clutter. This includes dozens of financial emails, multiple apps, online accounts, and recurring charges you forgot existed. This is really relevant now in the world that we live in with all the different types of apps and subscriptions that you can have. There's a subscription for literally almost everything, and we're always receiving some kind of email, whether it's junk or good emails. And we have multiple apps on our phone uh, and a multitude of accounts. This is where you have too much going on at one time. It's like I said, this think of it as noise, and the more noise you have, the harder it is to make those decisions. So that's what the digital clutter is. And then we have the mental clutter. This is often the worst type. It happens when money is consistently weighing on your mind because you don't have a clear picture of your finances. And the way we're going to get that clear picture of our finances is by going through and trying to declutter a lot of the things in our life. Think of the mind clutter as if you ever watched that show, Hoarders. That's what the mind clutter reminds me of. It's you got all this stuff and you're afraid to let it go because you're afraid to let go of the control. But the real control is letting some of these clutters go that are happening in your life in order to get a better picture of what's actually going on and what you need and don't need. So, what are some signs of financial clutter? Some of the questions you might want to ask yourself to see if you have signs of financial clutter in your life is um, these right here. It's going to be, do you avoid looking at your bank accounts? Have you missed a bill payment recently? Do you know exactly how many subscriptions you pay for? Could you quickly find your tax return if you needed it? And do you know how much debt you currently owe? If you answer no to several of these questions, financial clutter may be affecting you. Let's take a look at some of the hidden costs of dealing with financial clutter. Some of the hidden costs that are associated with dealing with financial clutter can lead to late fees, overdraft fees, missed savings opportunities, unnecessary subscriptions that you're paying for, increased stress, and delayed financial decision. Probably the biggest hitting cost is really the cost on your mental and physical health. When you stress about money, it often leads to mental strain, which carries into your physical strain. Being sure that you're able to declutter and make things a lot more simpler and having a clearer picture can really help with clarity in your mental and physical state. So, you really want to make sure that you're taking care of this clutter before it overtakes you and you're no longer here. Many people lose hundreds of dollars every year simply because their finances are disorganized. Let's talk about how to actually declutter your finances. Step one in decluttering your finances is to make a list of every bank account that you have. You really want to find out how many bank accounts do you have, and then you want to start cutting some of those. Unless you're using those accounts and you have a fund system, which is the type of budgeting system where you have multiple accounts for different bills, then you need to really just close them out. Me and my wife were having this conversation the other day. She was asking me for advice on if she should open up a new bank account, and I said, "For what? Why do you why do you need another bank account? Like, what would be the purpose? Unless you're using funding a fund system of budgeting, there's no purpose in having 10 different bank accounts at 10 different places. All you're doing, to me, is just robbing Peter to pay Paul. There's no need in having that many bank accounts open. And then not only are you going to look at your bank accounts, but you're also going to look at some of your other accounts that you may have open outside of banking institutions to see, like, do you really need this many accounts? Step two is to review all of your subscriptions. This includes Netflix. This includes that subscription to clothing stores, subscriptions to that are automated at different places. You're going to look at all of your subscriptions, whether it's through an app, whether it's through some other type of subscription. You're going to want to take a look and really review those subscriptions and cut out what it is that you don't need. Maybe you don't need that Fendi subscription every month to come to your house. I mean, how much underwear do you really need, or how much Fendi do you really need to rock? Maybe instead of that, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a subscription. You have Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max. Do you really need all those subscriptions, all that entertainment? You really only watch one at a time anyway. Maybe it's time to start cutting out some of that stuff. Maybe there's other subscriptions in your life that you know of that you really don't need. So you're going to want to list out all those subscriptions and really start to review and make those decisions on what is a priority and what is not. Step number three is to organize your important documents. This is probably one of the most important steps in all of this, outside of making a list of your accounts and reviewing your subscriptions, is to really organize your documents. Again, you want to be able to are you able to pull your tax documents if needed? Are you able to pull that loan document and your credit card statements if needed? You want to organize those important documents that you have and make sure that you're able to have easy access to them. You shouldn't be having to swim through mountains and mountains and piles of paperwork, or going through a bunch of stuff to be able to get to it. Just to give you an idea, for whatever reason, me and my wife have been living in our house for about the last 6 or 7 years when we bought it, and our water bill still comes in the previous owner's name. So she called the water company to see why it's still coming in the previous owner's name and how can we get it switched over. The water company told us basically we have to send in our settlement sheet. And my wife asked me, "Do we still have the settlement sheet?" That was so long ago when we bought the house. I said, "Yes, I do." Why? Because I have all that organized and put away. Step number five is to, or step number four, excuse me, getting ahead of myself. Step number four is to set up automatic bill payments. The less you have to think about it, the more you already know. And if you're organized and tracking and you have your budget, you already know what bill is going out and what time of month it's going out. So it's automatically coming out of your account, so you don't have to worry about trying to make a payment or logging in to make a payment or even missing a payment, and now you're paying late fees, so you're paying even more. So if you could automate your bills, that is one of the best ways to set up or to help you to start to declutter your finances. Step number five is to create a simple budget. This ties right into setting up that automated bill pay. If you have your budget, you already know what is coming out. as far as your automated bill pays. It may change a little bit month to month depending on the type of bill that it is, but for the most part, you know the day of the month that it's going to come out, when it's going to come out, and for how much it's going to come out. So you want to make sure that you're setting up that simple budget. And remember, be sure to make your budget flexible. You don't want to just set it and forget about it and go. Your life is going to change, and so is your budget. It's going to evolve with you. And then step number 6 is to make sure that you're scheduling a monthly financial review. I'll take it a step further. Me personally, I review my finances every week. I have a money day. You want to set up a money day, and that's your day where you set aside either 20 minutes to an hour, however long it may take you, where the more often you do it, the less time you'll need, but where you want to sit down and it's uninterrupted. That's the most important thing. You're not doing 10 different things at one time. Your only focus is to review your finances, whether that's a weekly review or a monthly review. I highly suggest you do a weekly review. It takes less time, and you just set that time aside where all you're doing is just reviewing your finances to figure out where are you at, where do you need to go, and where do you need to maybe cut or make some changes or make some adjustments. So that is the best way to declutter your finances. Just to quickly recap, remember, step 1 is to make a list of every account and review it. Step 2, review all your subscriptions. Step 3, organize important documents. Step 4, set up automatic bill pay. Step 5, create a simple budget. And step 6, schedule a monthly financial review. Now, let's talk about building a financial command center. Building a financial command center is one of the best things you can do, whether you're using a spreadsheet, kind of budgeting app, or you're using old school pen and paper. And what you're going to do with your financial command center, it's basically um, think of it like if you ever watch one of those bank robbing movies where the police show up on the scene and they have that command center where all information is coming in and out of there, and they're talking to the bank robbers in the movie, but everything is right there. It's a central command. That's what this is going to be. And it's going to help you to track your income, your expenses, your debt payoff plan, your savings plan, and all the bills that you have for the month. This is your one-stop shop where you can see your the entirety of your financial picture. You're going to be able to track that income to see what's coming in. Think of your command center. Think of the income as the gas in the car. You don't know how far you can go if you don't have any gas. So the income's going to help you with that. It's going to show you your expenses. What is coming out? This is one of the most important things: is tracking what's going out and what you um, have to cover with the income. And then you're going to want to understand the debt. How quickly do you want to pay off your debt? Do you want to use the snowball effect? Do you want to use the avalanche effect? Or do you want to use some other debt repayment plan to help you with your debt? And then savings. What are your savings goals? This is going to keep you on track for where you want to go with your savings, where you're currently at, and where you want to go, and how quickly you want to get there. And then you're going to want to track your bills. One of the most important things I think that people overshadow when it comes to personal finances is understanding when those bills are coming out. Is it coming out the first of the month or the 15th of the month? And then that ties into your pay. Are you getting paid bi-weekly? Are you getting paid first and 15th of the month? How are you structuring your bills to make sure that your cash flow is keeping you afloat for the month? And remember, when you build your financial command center, this can be either a spreadsheet, notebook, or some kind of budgeting app. It's really up to you. The biggest thing that we're doing here is we're building a system that you can use to help you track your finances to get you to where you want to be. So, what's our bottom line? Financial clutter doesn't mean you're bad with money. It simply means your financial system just needs some organization. Start small and pick one area today and improve it. And over time, you'll spend less time worrying about money and more time making progress towards your goals. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. And thanks for watching. And I'll see you next week to break down how to be a financial minimalist.